Hello FPL world, my name is Gordon and welcome to FPL Galaxy. This week I'm reviewing my Game Week 7 team performance. I'll go on into showing you guys the transfer that I've made going into Game Week 8. Then we'll go on into the Game Week 8 selection. And after that, I'm going to make a shout on certain players that I necessarily do not have, but that I recommend you guys to put in if you're able to do so. So now let's go in. This game week was quite unique, quite special. As you're able to see from there, yes, my points have maintained. Those are the points that I had going into game week 7, and they're the same points that have come out from game week 7. But interestingly, my rank has risen. Game week points is equal to 0, and I scored a game week rank of 1. Yes, this was due to the fact that all games last week were postponed. Yes, they will be rescheduled to a later date, but they were cancelled and were postponed, so there was no game week 7 team playing. So in England, all the teams in game week 7 didn't play because of the death of the Queen. Yeah, so all that brought about cancellation of those games in the Premier League, which affected our FPL teams, of course. So now, all that, the team that I went in game week 7 scored a total of 0 points. Yes, so despite all this, Ward came out as the best player of the week. He had a number of saves and he came through for the team, even though we all saw what happened. That was a 0. Yeah, so yeah, on a more serious note, you've seen guys that what happened here is that since this was a blank game week, there was nobody who scored any points. Yeah, but as you're able to see, the rank that I had last week is lower than what I've had this week. What I mean is, last week I had a rank, of course, in numbers you'd say it was higher, but in terms of ranking, I would say it was lower than what I've gotten this week. So my rank rose about 66,000 actually, 66.3 thousand. This is the rank rise that I've had because of certain hits that people are making. So because certain people, you guys out there, some of you made negative, say negative 4, negative 8, you'll notice that your rank went down. Yes, so this is simple math. So for those that didn't make any hits, they didn't make any negatives, their ranks, of course, have kind of changed. Those that made negatives, and if your points were, say, 313 before, and then your points, due to the hit that you've taken, negative 4, it drops to about 309, it means your rank will change. So because of those changes, most people's ranks were fluctuating, and now they have different ranks this week. So now going into the transfer that I've made, Robertson is being taken out to give way for Trippier. Robertson is injured right now, but even though he was fit, I would still have removed him from my team for obvious reasons that Liverpool are not at their best this season. Of course, this part of the season. Yeah, they've had some struggles with their midfield, and Van Dijk hasn't been his best, and due to that, the others are suffering. Not Van Dijk only, but of course, the entire squad isn't performing at par to the standards that we've known them for. Yeah, that is bound to change because most players have now come back. The likes of Diogo Jota has come back. Yeah, Thiago Alcantara also, I know, has come back. So we expect them to do better. But until then, Robertson had to go out to make way for Trippier. Trippier, he's doing very good, I should say. He's playing for a Newcastle team that are keeping clean sheets for fun. And because he's an attacking minded defender, he's putting in those crosses. He's got the second highest crosses in the game, only second to Trent. Then also is the second highest scoring defender in the game, second only to Cancelo. So those numbers tell you exactly the kind of person that we're dealing with, and that's why I had to swap him in for Robertson. Clearly, I didn't even hesitate on this move. It's a move that I had been thinking about, and I had to make it this game week. Now, going into my game week 8 team selection, these are the stats that I go in with. So the points this week are those. These are the points that I have this week. The slide that you saw previously, the first one, is the one I went with in game week 7, the review. Now these are the points that I'm with, which reflect the rise in rank. Of course, that one was also supposed to show the rise in rank, but here it's updated. It's showing you how much I've gone in rank. It rose about 66.3k. The points I have in overall about 313. Not great, I know, but we're getting there. Then the total number of transfers I've made this game week is the one that I've made for Robo, making way in for Trippier. The total number of transfers that I've made is 5. Yeah, so I haven't made any hits thus far. The hits that I would have made were cancelled. I activated my free hit, which was then restored, thankfully. So now in the bank I have 2.7 and my squad value is 99.2. Yeah, so I've taken out some players and brought in others like the one I've made, so that's why my squad can be above 100 right now. But I have enough squad value, which is more than £1 million, so I'm able to make changes in a more flexible manner. So now going into the team selection, in goal I go with Rare playing against Arsenal at home. I do not expect Brentford to keep a clean sheet in this one. If they do, that would actually be a bonus and something unexpected, to be honest. Arsenal, I know, may be able to score because they understand the position that they are in, and surely from this fixture I expect Rare to put in a number of saves because Arsenal are a team that have been shooting often on goal, and so I expect Rare to have even more than 6 saves from this one. Hopefully he does have, and from there we're going to have a number of points from him, as he always does. In defense I go with Cancelo, Perisic, Zinchenko and Trippier. Trippier is playing, he has got a very good fixture against Bournemouth at home. Bournemouth are a team that has conceded so many crosses, so many goals, and so Trippier may just be the man for this match. From the defenders, I expect him to relatively have more points than the others because Bournemouth, truthfully, have been horrible, I should say. Yeah, last week or the other week when they were playing in game week 6, they put up a good show against Nottingham Forest. But this is Newcastle. They've been really strong. They've been really good. They put up a very good show against Manchester City. And so we expect something awesome from them against Bournemouth. Zinchenko plays against Brentford, who also concede a number of goals here and there. So he may be able to put in an assist. So I expect an attacking return from him. Then Perisic is playing against Leicester, who haven't been at the best, in the best of their form. They've been struggling lately. But because he played in the Champions League and he played slightly over 90, there are some doubts as to the number of minutes that he's going to be able to play. So hopefully he does that. If he does that, he's able to do some damage in this match, and I expect him to put in an assist or even a goal because Leicester are really conceding a number of chances. Then Cancelo has been brilliant in the Champions League. He's assisted in 2 matches consecutively. He put in a brilliant assist for that awesome HAALAND goal. What a goal that one was if you watched that match, Manchester City against Dortmund in the UEFA Champions League. Yeah, so Cancelo definitely goes in there, and I expect him to do something in this Wolves matchup. Yeah, so it won't be easy, as we know Wolves tend to be quite defensive, but you know, it is Man City. They're the most creative team in the Premier League, and so Cancelo may be able to benefit from that. Now, going in the defense, so going with Martinelli, Kulusevski, and Andreas. Yeah, as you're able to know, this game week, there are 3 matches that have been cancelled, that have been postponed. Yeah, that is Manchester United versus Leeds. Then there's Chelsea versus Liverpool, and also Brentford, or rather Brighton versus Crystal Palace. So 6 teams are affected. So if you had, say, three players from Liverpool, you had 2 players from Brighton, and some player from Leeds and Manchester United, you may at this particular time find yourself in a difficult situation, which has forced you to either free hit or wild card. But for me, fortunately, I found myself in a situation that only 2 of the players that I had were actually blanking, and that is Diaz and Robertson. Robertson is out, and so I'm only left with 1 player who is actually blanking. So I'm not using any chip in this game week, thankfully, and that is why Andreas has gone into my team. They are playing against a leaky Nottingham Forest, and I expect something from this match because Mitrovic is a guy who has been scoring goals for fun, and the person who has been assisting most of those goals has been Andreas, and that's why I'm confident enough to add him into my team. Kulusevski didn't play much in the Champions League, and that's why I'm confident that in this one he's going to have the minutes. Yes, this is Leicester. I've already mentioned it. Leicester are not having the best start to the season, and that is why Tottenham may be able to obliterate them, as I expect things to go. Yeah, so Kulusevski may just be able to benefit a lot from this matchup. Martinelli plays against Brentford, and like I said, Brentford have been conceding so many chances on goal, and so he may be able to score or even assist, or both. Yeah, so I expect a lot from Martinelli. Then there is Jesus there, so just like Martinelli plays Brentford, and so Jesus finds himself in a situation where he's able to score a number of goals in this one. But with the athleticism of Raya, he really has to be sharp, because Raya is a shot stopper. As we know him, he puts in a number of saves. So I'll be able to benefit on both sides. Jesus should be able to score in this one. Yeah, so then I'll go for Kane forward. Kulusevski and Kane are the Tottenham players that I go with. Song is not having the best start to the season, just like it was for Kane last season. In the first 10 matches, he really struggled to get into the form that we've always known him for, and this is exactly what's happening to Son, unfortunately. So hopefully he gets into that form that we knew him for last season, where he even managed to be co-winner of the Golden Boot. But as at now, you may not want to go for Son, because there's a better option in Kane or Kulusevski. Finally, we go in for HAALAND, the Norwegian top striker. He is the top striker in the Premier League and is looking dangerous in all angles. We've seen what he's able to do, and that is why you may not be willing to even hesitate leaving him out of your team. If you're on a wild card, please bring him in to your team if you do not have him. HAALAND is the man to have in your teams. And that is why, without hesitation, I'm captaining him, and the vice captain goes on Kane. My bench is made up of Ward, De Silva, Nick Williams, and Diaz. Like I mentioned, Diaz is the only player that I have in my team who is actually blanking. The others, of course, are playing their fixtures, and I'm sure they're going to collect points. It could be 2s. Others may surprise me. They can get an 8, a 6. Yeah, but according to the strengths that I've measured in my team, this is my 11, and those are my benched players. So this is the team that I go for, and like I mentioned, I would like to make honorable shouts to these 3 players. The first one being Isak, plays for Newcastle. Is going to be the main talisman for the Newcastle team in that attack. He's looked really good in the 2 matches that he's played. and look at the fixtures that he has. This week he plays Bournemouth, the next one he plays Fulham and Brentford, all teams that concede goals, yet we see that Isak is brilliant on the ball. Yeah, he's got good footwork and he's able to cause some damage against these teams. So if you're thinking you're on a wild card and probably have thoughts of removing Jesus from your team, you can go for Isak. Another player that of course everybody is having in their team, in their wildcard teams, is Mitrovic. Mitrovic has looked dangerous in all angles. He's only blanked in the second game week, and that blank only came because he missed a penalty. All other matches he's been scoring goals for fun, and this is Mitrovic. Those are the fixtures that he has. This week he's got Nottingham Forest, who I believe is able to score even twice or even a hat-trick. So who knows? I'm even afraid I do not have him in my team. And of course he's got Newcastle and West Ham. The Newcastle match may be tricky, but the West Ham one, we see that is easily able to score in that match also. He looks fixture proof because he's scored against the toughest opponents. And so what we're able to see now is that he's now having the better fixtures. So the best time to have him is now if you're able to accommodate him in your wildcard. Finally, this one is a surprise a mention. I'm sure most of you are not even thinking about him, but if you're able to accommodate him, Maddison would be a very good shout. He has got 3 returns so far in his first 3 game weeks. Yes, the entire Leicester team isn't doing so well, but Maddison is one of the shining stars of that team. He's already at 22 points, and we know just how good that is compared to the top scoring ones out there. So with the fixtures that are lined up there, we know Tottenham isn't doing so well. They just conceded twice in the Champions League in the midweek match, and so they're even able to concede against Leicester, even though Leicester themselves are not doing so well. Their attackers are able to score, even though they themselves are able to concede many chances. Then Nottingham Forest is the team they play next, and Bournemouth. These are the 2 teams that have conceded the most chances and the most goals, I should say. So Maddison is able to profit from this, as we're able to see that Maddison benefits from teams that concede so many chances, and his partnership with Daka or Vardy can be able to profit him in terms of assists or goals. So he's one of the honorable shouts that I had to make there. So it's Isak, Mitrovic and Maddison. So all the best, guys, as you make your wildcards. Remember this, you have one chance to go until game week 16 when we're going to get the unlimited transfers during the World Cup. And so make the best decisions as you make your wildcards. I used my wildcard in game week 2, and that is why I cannot afford to bring in so many players, and that's why I'm going in step by step. Of course, I'm not panicking, but I just hope that I'm able to arrive at the best decisions also. So this has been my game week review, a transfer selection, and the honorable shouts that I had for you guys. If you're enjoying what you're watching and listening to thus far, please put in that like, subscribe to my channel so that you're going to be getting, of course, the videos each and every time, each and every week. I'll be making sure to update you guys on the thoughts that I have for each game week, how the game is going, and would really appreciate if you leave your comments on what you think about the week and the moves that you guys are making. So all the best as you make the final moves going into the deadline tomorrow. So I'm recording this video today on the 15th of September, which is a Thursday, and tomorrow is the deadline. So make sure you finalize your teams, guys, and make that good decision on the captaincy. Yeah, I'm going with HAALAND. Like I mentioned, it's really difficult not to captain HAALAND in a match where they face Wolves. Yes, he's Man City, they're able to score against any team, so HAALAND is one player you expect to score against any team also. So like I mentioned, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow me on my social at FPL Galaxy ZM on Twitter. catch you on the next one, guys, and all the best.